To some, he was the very embodiment of evil, the psychopathic incarnation of the devil himself. To others, he was a God-fearing defender of the faith, courageously standing up to the feared Ottoman Empire. In his time, he was known as Vlad the Impaler.
A ruler so fierce that entire towns lived in terror. Vlad the Impaler, a prince who turned fear into power, driving thousands to impalement. But behind the dark legend lies a complex man of strategy, survival, and brutal brilliance. Who was the real Dracula? Let's uncover the truth. Chapter 1. The Birth of Vlad. Think of the misty mountains and thick forests of 15th century Transylvania. The land is a battleground caught between clashing empires and faiths. Hungary to the north, the Ottoman Empire looming to the south, and local noble factions locked in bitter rivalries. It was here, between 1428 and 1431, that a boy was born to Vlad II Dracula, a nobleman with a fearsome name. Dracula didn't just mean dragon. It was a mark of dark power earned through membership in the Order of the Dragon, a knightly brotherhood sworn to defend Christendom from Ottoman invasion. But this child entered a world where power was brutal, and survival meant navigating constant danger. A world of shifting alliances, betrayal, and open warfare. This boy, destined to terrify Europe, was born into chaos. Chapter 2. The Formative Years. Think about a prince taken from home, not imprisoned in a dungeon, but held as a political hostage in the Ottoman court. Vlad, along with his brother Radu, endured captivity meant to secure their father's loyalty to the Sultan. But the brothers responded very differently. Radu adapted and won favor. Vlad grew bitter and defiant. The harsh lessons of captivity, harsh punishments, foreign intrigue, and constant threat carved deep scars. It was in this crucible that Vlad learned survival wasn't about mercy. This bitter captivity would sharpen his ruthlessness and fuel his lifelong hatred of the Ottomans. These were not just childhood trials. They were the foundation of a ruler, hardened to fight for his land and people on his own terms. Chapter 3. Claiming Wallachia. Vlad's first bid for the throne came early. In 1448, as a teenager, backed by the Ottomans, he seized power briefly. It didn't last. Rival nobles, betrayal, and the shifting tides of politics drove him out. But his story was far from over. Returning with the support of Hungary in 1456, Vlad reclaimed the crown. But the throne was not peaceful. Wallachia was fractured, its boyars divided into warring factions, each ready to stab at their ruler's back. His own family was stained with tragedy. His father, Vlad II, and brother Mircea had been murdered in these power wars. Think about a young ruler surrounded by enemies, some known, some waiting in shadows. Betrayal was common currency, and Vlad quickly learned that mercy was a luxury he could seldom afford. These betrayals seethed within him, fueling a sense of justice that could be merciless, swift, and brutal. From these early struggles, the man who would become the Impaler emerged, not just a prince, but a ruler determined to claim and hold power by whatever means necessary. Chapter 4. The Impaler emerges. Perhaps no image is more synonymous with Vlad than that of his gruesome signature. Visualize a wooden stake, sharpened, greased, and raised high against the sky. Men, women, and sometimes entire families were forced upon these stakes, a chilling form of justice and terror. But this was far from random cruelty. Impalement was Vlad's strategic weapon, fear fashioned into an instrument of control. His enemies, especially rebellious boyars and defiant Saxon towns, soon understood that resistance invited a fate far worse than death. Think of the impact these acts had, not only on those who faced them, but on those who heard the tales. Harsh messages sent loud and clear. Defy me, and this will be your end. This terror was a carefully calibrated tool to maintain order. Chapter 5. Warrior of Wallachia. Vlad was no mere butcher, he was a brilliant military strategist. Facing enemies far larger in number, he turned to guerrilla warfare. swift cavalry raids, scorched earth tactics, and psychological warfare that wore down the invaders long before the battlefield. In 1462, the Ottomans launched a massive invasion into Wallachia, expecting an easy conquest. Instead, they faced a land set ablaze, poisoned wells, sabotaged roads, and an army attack under cover of darkness. Man, traps hidden beneath forest floors, sudden night raids against camps. It was a relentless war of attrition. Vlad's forces were smaller and less equipped, but his knowledge of the terrain and relentless tactics cost the Ottoman army dearly. This was warfare not just of swords, but of minds and nerves. No wonder the Sultan's vast army struggled against such fierce and terrifying resistance. His warrior spirit shines through these accounts, not solely as a tyrant, but as a defender fighting against overwhelming odds to protect his homeland. Chapter 6: Allies, Enemies, and Politics. Vlad's reign was a constant balancing act. His alliances shifted like quicksilver, at times aligned with Hungary, at others with Moldavia under Stephen the Great, trying to hold Wallachhia's fragile independence amidst growing threats. Even his devout Christian faith was intertwined complexly with political necessity. He was a fierce supporter of the Romanian Orthodox Church, granting it privileges to solidify his rule. Yet, clashes with Catholic institutions also marked his reign. Religion was never far from politics. Behind every move was calculation. Each alliance forged, every enemy confronted, every promise made or broken reflected a ruler fully aware of the precarious tightrope he walked between cooperation and defiance, survival and destruction. Vlad's decisions were never reckless, but rooted in the cold calculus of power in a volatile world. Chapter 7: Fall and Mysterious Death. No reign lasts forever, even one marked by terror and triumph. Over time, Vlad's extremism alienated many of his own people. His brother Radu, backed by Ottomans, became a rival claimant, attracting more support from disaffected boyars. Captured by Hungarians and later released, Vlad managed a brief return to power in 1476, only to face an abrupt and violent end. The exact circumstances remain elusive. Some say he died in battle near Bucharest. Others whisper of assassination, or even tragic mistaken identity. What is certain is that his death did not silence his legend. His severed head was allegedly displayed in Constantinople, a grim trophy meant to mark the end of a menace. Still, even death couldn't end Vlad's story. From the Carpathians to the depths of European folklore, his name would echo for centuries. Chapter 8: Myth, Legacy, and Dracula. The real Vlad stands far beyond the Gothic vampire of legend. Saxon propaganda transformed his bloody campaigns into monstrous tales, exaggerating atrocities to rally European opposition. But beneath the horror, a complex man emerges, a ruler who delayed Ottoman conquest, centralized power in a fractious land, and crafted brilliant military strategies against overwhelming forces. Vlad was terrifying, but also brilliant, calculating, and deeply human. When we talk about Dracula, remember that the man who inspired the myth did not lurk in shadows, but stood boldly in history's harsh light. A prince bound to his time, shaped by survival, power, and unyielding resolve. The real Dracula walked not in shadows, but in history. If you enjoy this video, like, comment, and subscribe for more stories that blur the line between myth and reality.